It's Dandadan, the show where we talk about Dandadan, a manga about the dum-da-dums. This week, read Dandadan. Life good. Dandadan fight back. Kill Dandadan. Dandadan gone. Think about Dandadan. Regret. So 207 picks up from 206, and it's pretty, it's a setup chapter, I cannot lie, but there was a lot of stuff that went into this. Clearly, this is meant to bridge into Bamora, which I can't call Vamola, even though I so want to. Having a moment in the manga here. Oh, God. This is because Tatsu is doing the Gege Akutami thing, except not killing my favorite characters for cheap shock value. Hey, don't worry, Jujutsu Kaisen, I love it. I'm a big fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, so it's okay if I kill Jujutsu. But Tatsu absolutely is going to show Bamora to synergize with her upcoming introduction happening very soon in the anime. But before we talk more about that moment and the details within those panels, let's keep it nice and clean and start at the beginning, shall we? Bamora absolutely shreds through these ninjas because, as it so turns out, highly advanced space tech is actually better than highly unadvanced ninja tech. At least that's my headcanon. It's actually just that his aura was a little too obvious. This made me chuckle a little too loudly because this Toad guy was so sure his reptilian nature would allow him to use his natural cloaking and stay hidden behind the pillar, like any good politician. But Bamora doesn't care about your pillar. She's a dinosaur kaiju mom, and she doesn't take too kindly to people hurting their friendos. Ironically enough, the enemy of all politicians. Also, everything she does, God, guys, it's just totes adorable. She's just like a dump truck full of sweetness and has this unusual pupil to prove it. Also, you have to love that art of Bamora just pummeling Toad Boy into oblivion, who, you know, I kind of feel conflicted about. So this is supposed to be one of those Scooby-Doo things, right? Where this Toad guy is more of a lackey with no spine. It's supposed to be annoying. If so, that's fine. No big deal, right? But my first expectation was that this guy would be less, I don't know, kind of a jobber, more of a insane mastermind of some kind. I even felt this way after finishing this chapter, too. I don't know, maybe he still is, and to be fair, maybe I am just trying to see something that isn't there because the image of Inenra's biceps are just still inside of my head, and no matter how many times I headbutt my Seiko posters, it just won't leave me. And speaking of sweetness overload, God damn it, it was just so cute seeing Momo on top of Kaiju's head, fist pumping while Bamora doesn't remember Momo, so she's like, thanks, little Miss Pixie. It's just, she's so cute. I don't know who they're getting for Bamora's Japanese and English dub VAs yet, but I may die either way upon hearing them. So it turns out that this suit is very handy because it also allows Bamora to see Momo when others cannot. This makes me think that we will see Momo disappear in this arc, possibly, but it will be Kaiju and Bamora that turn out to be the difference makers most likely. Because why else would Tatsu set that up? It's just too perfect of a setup. Plus, with Bamora calling Momo Little Miss Pixie, it would be the perfect way to have Bamora play a role and show how much she's changed. Also, it was just so totes when Bamora calling her Miss Pixie was like, why are you helping a fellow like me? And I love Momo's response to it. She's just like, no, that's so sad. Don't say that. God, I just love how the genuine innocence and pure nature of Bamora is in this manga. I was reading like, hey, you know, this is low-key kind of sad, and by the end it just turns into brightness, sunshine, and rainbows because of Bamora. Especially when you see her dive down the stairwell and run out from the castle like just a total oaf. Now, this is where we get into the really sad stuff for this chapter. Like, maybe it's just because Seiko is my wife and I care deeply for my wife. No, I am not doing the sad ape meme for her. But returning to the taxi, to which if I was the driver, I would demand double, make it triple at that. But you can see Momo's heart drop as she sees Gigi naked holding Seiko. She jumps on Gigi's shoulder and then onto Seiko, crying. Gigi tells her that the issue with Seiko right now is that her ribs are badly broken and that there is no telling what is going on internally, which is true. There could be punctured lungs, organs, or a simple collapse of whatever. Now, It is a good sign, though, that she is still able to talk through the pain, but we do know that Seiko is a toughie and isn't someone that would give up even in her dying breath, so I don't know if that means too much anyways. But speaking of, I think Tatsu is trying to give me a heart attack with this chapter, specifically attacking me. So cut it out, man. Just cut it out. Joking aside, I was really impressed with how Momo was drawn here because it looks so convincing and just so detailed. And honestly, all of that combined, this really did make me kind of cry a little because I am a sucker for that old mentor that dies shtick. It just gets me every time because I don't know. I guess for me, I relate to that because I want people to depend on me and respect me as much as I genuinely respect them. So if someone cries for me, well, I gotta cry back like the little baby back bitch I am. I don't need therapy. I got YouTube, baby. But Momo tells Seiko to not talk to save her strength as the rain begins pouring hard. That is the classic trope in basically every writing. So if you don't know, rain in a story typically signifies a change in the story or a character having something bad happen to them. It's basically there to say, hey, this character is about to go through hell and back because of the loss that they had just experienced. Now, rain doesn't have to signify a character's death, just a loss of some kind. For example, when I lost my virginity, it rained really hard that day, and my life has not been the same since. So don't go thinking Seiko is dying. This could just mean that she is out of the story for a while, which would be significant even then, as that would mean the series is about to lose 2 grannies to plot reasons. That would mean we'd be down to 1 MILF, which would be Queen Sensei. Also, can I just for one moment call out my community member Nayuta? He makes cool content and he's really chill, but he called Queen Sensei adult Momo, and now I will never forgive him and unsee it, and I hate that. So here is where things get extra wild. Things just keep eating extra in this video, but Frog Legs turns into a walking frog castle. Turns out that this is what he calls his true mighty form, as he channels his best pre-cringe Chris Jericho, calls them all just stupid idiots. Also, it is just absolutely stupidly insane that he is being lifted up by what he compares to ninjas created in his stomach, like bifidobacteria? Is that how you pronounce it? It's been forever since I've been in high school. So literally, these ninja are just bacteria for his stomach. That's pretty cool, and it's insane to think about, but also just a cool concept and another use of Tatsu's weird autistic obsessions with biology and chemistry. I get it. My videos are apparently, quote, special interest yapping. So, Momo then tells Gigi that fighting or her curse isn't what is important right now. It is making sure that Seiko gets to the hospital, gets treatment, and survives. And I am not gonna lie with you all, I think Momo's right here. To lose Seiko would be devastating and mean the children have essentially zero guidance or hope for guidance. Seiko is a pool of knowledge that they absolutely need. And I do think as well that they can somewhat afford to have them sacrifice Momo in the meantime because of a theory I'll talk about later in this video. But for now, we are treated to a sweet image that reverses the mentor dying trope in a very clever way. Instead of Seiko saying goodbye, it is Momo who is saying goodbye as she propels herself onto Kaiju with Bamora to take on the giant, stupid, idiot castle toad as she wipes away the tears, remembering Seiko for her love of Bakatono, her special friendship with Turbo Granny, and of course, her simple expression showing off her beauty in body and mind. Guys, I actually sprung a tiny leak again when I saw that image of Momo remembering Seiko happily laughing and just being her happy self. Guys, Seiko is a pillar of Dandadan for me, and she sacrifices so much for the children that as of this moment, it shows that her impact is indelible to these children. Seiko is truly what they call a real one, and it is people like her really that we should cherish if we are lucky enough to have them in our lives. So pour one out for Seiko Ayase, fellas. Let's hope she doesn't die and recover soon. So, let's get into some of these theories I have coming out of this chapter. Will Seiko die? That is what this week's video is really revolving around, because while it is easy to say she would based on the vibes are just vibes, my friends. What is the goal? I think this is setting up a gigantic kaiju fight between Bamora and Momo versus Stupid Idiot Frog. From there, I think this eventually leads to either two returns. One, Turbo Granny returns in the absence of Seiko Ayase to fulfill that granny mentor role as she was prior. I put the likelihood of this happening at 20% for me because I just think that Turbo Granny's involvement in this series has to be directly linked to Count Saint Germain. So if anything, I think it may be another 200 chapters at most before we see Turbo G ever again. Two, which I am 90% sure to see happening, is Okarun crashing the Stupid Idiot Party and using that ogre club Seiko gave to him to protect Momo. Which happens all the time. Okarun always shows up to protect Momo. That's just how it's always been. This is more likely for me because there are narrative ties beyond what I just said which supports this. Seiko probably had a gut feeling based on everything that happened with Count Saint Germain, Okarun getting his nuts back, and Turbo Granny leaving, and especially after Momo turning little and being attacked by an Iron Bull and the Grasshopper Undead, that there would be a time when she wouldn't be around. So we are either getting that Uchide no Kozuchi, or the Ogre Club, which I theorized about in this video if you want to see more Dandadan. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention this one little detail. This image is actually way more deceptive than I initially thought. If we can zoom in closer, okay. What are those? Thank you so much for watching. I have college work to do, so I couldn't put much work into this one, but watch the video here on the screen to further support me. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.